A few days after my husband William was promoted to supervisor, Michelle, my mother-in-law, came over to celebrate. I looked around the dining room table, puzzled. I couldn't find the gift I had left there the previous evening. "Hey, do you know where the package I left on the table last night is?" Wearing his casual clothes and back in the living room, William replied with a smug smirk. "That cheap thing you gave me? I threw it out." I stared at him in shock. "It was in a Macy's bag. A custom-made shirt with initials and such. Too outdated for my taste." I responded with a faint smile. "So, you've always felt this way, huh?" For Valentine's Day and birthdays, I'd go all the way to the department store and pick out stylish socks and handkerchiefs for him. But William would accept them with a nonchalant face and wouldn't even thank me. Too bad, that gift wasn't from me. I can't wait to see the storm that's coming. You're gonna pay for all the times you've looked down on me. I am Carol, a 38-year-old housewife. I married William 2 years ago and have been working part-time since our marriage. I met William, who was working in the parent company of my previous job, through our respective bosses, and we started dating. Many of our friends and colleagues were getting married, and I was feeling the pressure, so I was grateful to my boss for introducing us. I was drawn to William's confident and cheerful personality, believing that I can build a wonderful family with him. So, I happily accepted his proposal a year later. But shortly after our wedding, William began showing his arrogant true colors. The first red flag was his grumpy remark right after we returned from our honeymoon. "When are you gonna quit your job?" "What do you mean?" "We can live on my salary, can't we? Just quit your job." I was dumbfounded. It's not like we can rely solely on a husband's salary anymore. We might want kids someday, so I want to save up now. "Well, I'll allow you to work, but switch to part-time." "What if household chores are neglected?" "We're both working, so it's only natural for us to share the chores, right?" With that, William scoffed. "Come on now, you earn less than me and yet you are trying to boss me around. That's ridiculous, right? My mom always kept our house spotless and was entirely devoted to my late dad." "Well, that's expected from a wife, I guess." "Oh, I can take out the trash if you want." It seems that his mother was a stay-at-home wife, and his father was a typical domineering husband. It's a bit much to expect that in this day and age. Arguing about it seemed so silly, so I just sighed and let it go. First, I asked my job to change from a full-time position to a part-time role ending at 3 p.m. After a few conversations, he'll probably understand. That's what I thought, but I was soon crushed by reality. William just wouldn't listen, and his condescending attitude only got worse. The thing that really got to me was his complaints about the food. He can't even prepare breakfast by himself, yet he was so picky. On a day when I was bedridden with a high fever, he came up to me and said, "What's for lunch?" Half asleep, I struggled to open my eyes and whispered with a raspy voice, "Sorry, I can't get up and cook right now. Just whip up something simple, like pasta or something." "Pasta? Simple?" I wanted to argue back, but I didn't have the energy, so I weakly said, "Just have some cup noodles." If you can't even prepare lunch, you're failing as a wife. Take better care of yourself. William didn't show any concern for me and just ate his noodles with a displeased look. Out of options, I warmed up some instant porridge and ate it. But then, a month later, when he caught a cold and was bedridden, he made a fuss, blaming it on me, made me prepare porridge, and expected me to care for him all night. When I mentioned that I had work the next day and couldn't, he got mad, saying, "What a cold wife. Don't you have any sympathy for your sick husband? Can't you see how much pain I'm in? Show some concern." To make matters worse, William had me prepare lunch for him every day, claiming that eating out was too expensive. He never showed any gratitude, just gave me a list of strict rules. I couldn't use leftovers from the previous night's dinner or frozen foods. Everything had to be made fresh. He insisted on a menu of vegetable soup, some egg dishes, fruit, toast, and coffee for breakfast. The fruit and egg dishes had to be different every day. Soon, I found myself constantly thinking about lunch ingredients and meal menus even at work, and my spirits were increasingly dampened. However, getting divorced right after getting married would be unfair to my boss, who had introduced us. I found it hard to vent to my friends and, with my parents having passed away, I had no one to turn to. Alone, I stewed in my own troubles. Despite all this, I continued to try and get along with my husband. For our anniversary, I made William's favorite meatloaf and waited up for him till late in the night. He got called away on an unexpected business trip and didn't return until the next day, but I didn't let that get me down. On Valentine's Day, I bought him a stylish t-shirt from the department store. He didn't react when I gave it to him, and it seems like it just ended up at the bottom of his dresser. However, in early March, I received a text from William during his work break, complete with a photo. My heart nearly stopped when I checked the message. Gonna head to Amanda's place now. Looking forward to the celebration gift. Keep those wine glasses I gave you the other day ready. I was staring in disbelief at my phone when another message came through. Not gonna let you sleep tonight. Ugh, I don't want to go back to my house. Was this what they call a misdirected message? This was undeniable proof of his infidelity. Even though I felt our love had long since faded, tears welled up in my eyes from the mix of profound sadness and raging anger, making me feel dizzy. I took a deep breath to calm myself and quickly took a screenshot before William could realize his mistake and delete the message. After that, even watching a comedy show couldn't distract me, so I took a shower to try and clear my head. As I was drying my hair, William came home. I looked into the living room to find him sprawled out on the couch, snoring, his face red. The scent of alcohol mixed with body soap was nauseating. I stumbled and fell near the couch. I noticed a high-end shopping bag. A shirt, maybe? Alongside a ribbon-tied square package, a floral card lay scattered on the floor. I picked them up and returned them to the bag. Then, I took note of the message. Congrats on your promotion, William. Being a manager at such a big company is impressive. Looking forward to our weekend date in San Francisco. I smirked. William's company is a small business. I wonder which company he's been claiming to work for. On top of that, after he finally got promoted to supervisor, he's such a show-off, lying about being a manager. I can't believe he'd ask me to return something for his mistress just to save a few bucks on delivery. I glared at William's sleeping face, his mouth slack and drooling. A week after William's promotion, on a public holiday, both William and I had the day off. I intended to sleep in, but ended up waking up earlier than usual. When I got up to use the bathroom, I sensed someone on the first floor. Going down, I found Michelle in the kitchen wearing an apron. Seeing me, Michelle, who was tying twine around chunks of beef and pork, frowned. Finally awake? For a housewife, you sure sleep in a lot. Michelle, it's only 5 a.m. While yawning, I saw Michelle preparing the meal and asked, "What brings you here today?" Using her own set of keys to get in. It's obviously to celebrate William's promotion. I heard he's gonna be out of town this weekend, so I moved it to today. I muttered to myself while looking at Michelle's beaming face. It's not a business trip, but rather an overnight rendezvous with his mistress. Still, why is she cooking meat so early in the morning? Is she planning on preparing a feast all day? I had a bad feeling but didn't ask any further questions. I changed into my casual clothes and started doing the laundry. So much for a day off, a nap seems unlikely now. After a while, the delicious smell of roasted meat wafted from the kitchen. I love roast beef and barbecued pork, but I can't imagine eating it this early. Michelle, humming along to a tune, left dishes in the sink and started making a salad. I began preparing breakfast next to her. After a while, Michelle, growing impatient with her son who showed no sign of waking, turned to ask me, "Carol, what time does William usually wake up?" On his days off, he usually sleeps until about 10 a.m. He must be tired from working every day. Well, that's all right. The party is tonight after all. By the way, Carol, you off from work today? I'm off today too. Oh, really? Michelle, with an obviously annoyed look, glanced at me. Even after preparing the meal, she didn't bother cleaning up. She plopped down on the sofa and started watching a TV show as if she was at her own home. After a while, William, who had just woken up, entered the living room. He looked shocked to see Michelle acting as if she owned the place. "Mom, why are you here?" "Good morning, William. I came over for a surprise promotion party tonight. Being a manager at such a big company, I can boast about it to the neighbors." "Oh, thanks." Looking slightly embarrassed, William gave me a quick glance and headed for the bathroom. I was taken aback to realize that even his parents had been fed false information. Suddenly, I noticed something missing from the dining table. The promotion gift I left out last night is nowhere to be found. Hey, do you know where the gift I left on the table last night is? When I asked William, who had just come back from the bathroom, he gave a mischievous smile. That cheap thing? I threw it away. I opened my eyes wide. The one in the Macy's bag? A custom-made shirt with initials? Too tacky. I'd never wear it. I chuckled. So, you've always felt this way. Every anniversary, I would head to the mall and pick out fashionable socks or handkerchiefs for him. But William would always take them for granted and never thanked me. It's a shame. That wasn't a gift from me. I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of scene unfolds. You're gonna pay for all the times you've made fun of me. Hearing my stern words, William looked puzzled. You checked the contents? Yeah. That was a gift from your mother. She sent it by courier, and I left it on the table. I messaged you about it last night, didn't you see? William's face stiffened. He quickly grabbed his phone, checked his messages, and went pale. On the sofa, Michelle, who was munching on a cookie, crushed the cookie in her hand and slowly stood up. I told you the other day that I'd just treat you this year, remember? I caught a glimpse of what looked like a really nice shirt. You came home pretty drunk last night, so you didn't really get a good look at it. William's mouth dropped open as he looked at Michelle. Michelle, with a hint of anger, flashed a smile. I even added a handwritten card. William, you just throw away gifts from others without a second thought. Mom's really disappointed. Sorry, I'll pick it up right now. Wait. As William rummaged through the kitchen trash can, Michelle's sharp voice shot at him. I just took it to the dump. William checked the wall clock and was shocked. He had missed the collection time by 30 minutes. The burnable trash had probably been collected already. William rushed to Michelle, got on his knees, and begged for forgiveness. I'm so sorry. I wouldn't have thrown it out if I knew it was from you, Mom. Even if it was from Carol, throwing it away without even using it once? That's really something. Michelle scolded William in a frustrated tone. She came from a generation that valued thriftiness, keeping things like wedding favors. Probably couldn't stand seeing things thrown away so hastily without even using them. William, having thoroughly upset his mother, seemed to shrink in guilt. It's hard for him in moments like this, especially since they usually get along so well. It would be a waste not to take advantage of the situation. With a clearly upset look on her face, Michelle began to pack up. I raised my voice and said to her, Michelle, there's nothing we can do about it. It seems he was really busy last night. For about a year now, he suddenly started having lots of overtime and business trips. Even though his salary didn't change, when I sarcastically mentioned it, William glanced at me with a side eye, breaking out in a cold sweat. Does she know I'm having an affair? No, I can't be sure yet. If I can keep it hidden, I'm gonna do just that. Seemingly torn inside, William managed a half smile and began to awkwardly explain. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? I'm busier at work, but the pay remains the same. It feels like I'm working for some shady company. I get so frustrated. Heck, I barely have time to check my cell. By the way, Michelle, William sent me this message the other day. I was so shocked, I cried. I showed Michelle my phone. It was a message William had mistakenly sent to me a few days ago. Michelle's eyes widened. William, are you having an affair? Staring at the phone Michelle was holding out, William's eyes bulged. What the heck is this? That's my line. You mistakenly sent your lovey-dovey exchange with her to me. The wine glasses, those are the ones you had me order online, right? Yes, they are. I can't believe it. Making your wife buy a gift for your mistress? What were you thinking? You're not just making a fool out of me, but her as well. Give me a break. The shipping cost was $2.50. As long as she doesn't find out, it's fine. I paid you back for the glasses, what's your problem? Acting like it was the most natural thing in the world, William became defiant. So, that was the reason. What a penny-pinching man. You're stingy, yet you want to have an affair. If you were gonna cheat just 2 years into our marriage, why did you even marry me? Challenged with this question, William smirked. I chose you 'cause you seemed like you'd just follow my lead, didn't matter who it was. What the heck, that's terrible. But once we got married, I just got bored with plain old you real quick. Women gotta be young and pretty, you know. I was so taken aback by William's audacity that I couldn't find words. You've been cheating for over 6 months now, haven't you? It started when a coworker invited you to that strip club. Suddenly, you had all these business trips and worked weekends and overtime. I knew something was off. You're so naive. I just told you that and you believed me. I threw out all the lunches you made for my weekend shifts. Eating your lunch on dates with Amanda would have been rude. I was speechless. Despite him saying he liked homemade, I woke up at 5 a.m. even on weekends to make elaborate lunches for him, and now to hear he'd just thrown them away. Michelle looked on, silently crossing her arms and frowning deeply. Furious, I pressed William even further. So, your weekend business trip to San Francisco was really a secret getaway, wasn't it? Don't bother playing dumb, I asked the detective agency to investigate. I took out documents and photos from a large envelope and spread them out on the table. There they were, clear as day, photos of him arm in arm with a woman at tourist spots, kissing, even going into a hotel. You didn't think you'd get photographed, did you? He grimaced for a moment but quickly shrugged it off. Boldly, he searched his phone for a photo to show to me and Michelle. Yeah, she's a stripper, a whole decade younger. Look, Mom. Ain't she cute? Michelle glared fiercely at the gleeful William. He recoiled as Michelle slapped the phone from his hand, and he stared, mouth agape. What the hell, Mom? You cracked the screen. Shut up! I was absolutely stunned to see Michelle yelling at William with such a furious expression. Michelle, with a furious look I had never seen before, yelled at William. It looked like she was about to lunge at him. Michelle trembled and scolded William in a shrill voice. William, aren't you ashamed of having an affair with a young woman? I thought you were the one person who wouldn't do such a thing. But Mom, you don't like Carol, right? Don't get mad just because I've got another woman on the side. Michelle was furious with William's flippant attitude. This is different. Don't you remember? Your father had an affair with a woman from a bar, and they even had a child. That caused a huge scandal. Do you know how much I cried back then? William touched his mouth with a regretful expression. Knowing this story from a previous conversation with William, I thought Michelle might take my side. My hunch was right, and to seal the deal, I pulled out William's paycheck from the drawer and spread it in front of William and Michelle. Come on, Michelle, don't be too hard on him. William's been working hard and look how much he's earning. The moment I put it on the table, William snatched it up and stuffed his paycheck into his pants pocket. Michelle looked puzzled. Oh, William, isn't the pay a bit low for working at the headquarters? No, it's Kanata Industries. Michelle blinked. What's that? I've never heard of that company. Wait a minute, when did you switch jobs? Avoiding Michelle's gaze, William tried to explain. I quit the company I joined right after college within a month. The pay was good, but the boss was scary. He got super mad when I overslept like 3 times. It's fine, right? I'm working properly. Yes, Michelle, he even got promoted to section chief. With a smile, I spilled the beans, and William glared at me. Hey, don't say unnecessary things. Weren't you a department manager? Well, I'll become one eventually. Michelle exploded with anger at William's casual brushing off, who was scratching his head and laughing. Enough is enough! She shouted, pounding the table. What's the matter, Mom? It's not worth getting angry over. You, always having affairs, lying. You don't seem to be remorseful at all. What are you planning to do in the future, William? I'm not planning anything in particular. William, fluttering his eyelids, spoke to me with a smirk. Carol, you're not gonna divorce me over a mere affair, right? Of course, I'm gonna keep seeing Amanda. I'll make sure to give you the money. You wouldn't be able to survive without me, right? He's way too selfish. I was beyond angry with William's words, just completely flabbergasted. It looked like Michelle felt the same, left speechless. If you don't want a divorce, turn a blind eye to my affairs, and keep taking care of me like you always have. After all, I'm the one providing for you. Got it? With his arms crossed, William smugly leaned back. I sighed deeply. I can't live with you anymore. Let's get a divorce. I can do just fine without you. I spread out my paycheck on the kitchen table that I had prepared. I also showed my bank app. Michelle peeked in from the side. Oh, you earn more than William, don't you? William turned pale.
No way, that can't be right. I had you switch to part-time so you'd earn less than me.
Staring at the notification in disbelief, William's voice trembled.
What's this $2,000 transfer? Are you into some shady business?
I started some computer work from home when I had free time. I'm finally earning well now. With my part-time job added, I earn more than you in a month. I smiled coldly at William.
You can't just spend our shared money on your mistress. You've spent around $10,000, haven't you? Just let it go. Consider it payback for everything I've done for you.
William looked away, arrogantly dismissing the concern.
It's ridiculous to make a fuss over one affair. And to complain about spending a little money is petty. I mean, if you earn more than me, you should be the one working. I'll quit my job. You handle both work and housework. Serve me better, like Mom did for Dad when he was alive.
Laughing heartily, Michelle gave William a cold glare. I can't deal with you anymore, William. Let's cut ties as a family.
Wait, Mom, why?
Do you think I served your dad out of love? I'm done with you. Whether you want to get a divorce or keep having affairs, do whatever you want. Michelle quickly gathered her things and headed for the front door. Stunned, I handed William the divorce papers. Don't mess with me. Why should I stay with you when I earn more? Expect a call from my lawyer tomorrow. We'll decide the compensation amount for your verbal abuse through him.
Hey, don't decide things on your own.
Leave my stuff here until the movers come to pick it up. If you throw anything away, I'll sue. I firmly declared and then left the room.
Hey, you're joking, right?
With a smirk, I silently turned away from William, who tried to stop me, and left our home. William resisted the divorce, but after being advised by a lawyer that going to court would cost more, he reluctantly agreed. The abusive language I had recorded on my phone served as evidence, and William had to pay me compensation. Moreover, he also had to compensate for spending over $10,000 from our shared savings, which seemed to drain his account. It became known at his company that we had divorced. To make matters worse, a colleague who accompanied him to the nightclub spilled the beans about the cause of our divorce, and rumors spread that he had gotten his mistress pregnant and even that he had been physically abusive to me. His boss, who made a speech at our wedding, was furious at the embarrassment and rescinded William's promotion, transferring him to the countryside instead. William sold our house and is moving to a remote area soon. According to neighbors, Michelle truly cut ties with William, tired of his insincerity. A friend said they recently saw William at the train station and were shocked by his pale, thin appearance. William, who had always relied on me for housework, must be struggling both mentally and at work, unable to rely on his mother and facing a tough environment at his office. I imagine his colleagues at the new subsidiary would know why he was transferred, and he'd be seen with skepticism. As for his mistress, after learning William's true position from a colleague, she quickly dumped him. He got what he deserved. After the divorce, I felt the weight lift off my shoulders and realized just how much I had endured. Despite my efforts, he never recognized them and always demanded more, treating me like a maid. I felt guilty about divorcing because my boss had introduced us. It seemed like I wasn't patient enough if I quickly wanted a divorce. I hoped one day he'd understand. But I had gotten used to suppressing my own feelings, thinking that way. Now that I'm single again, I feel free and refreshed. The urgency I felt to get married, have children, or not be alone in my old age has faded after the failed marriage. For now, I'm going to take a break from dating and enjoy my single life.